Have you ever felt rejection so deeply that it didn't just hurt your heart, but struck directly at your identity? That quiet feeling of not being chosen, not being remembered, of being treated as optional. Maybe it was a message that went unanswered, an opportunity that was denied, a sudden distance without explanation, or a glance that passed right through you as if you didn't exist. Rejection has this cruel power to make us doubt our worth, our importance, and even our place in the world. But what if I told you that what feels like a personal defeat is, in fact, a mental test? Marcus Aurelius taught that you have power over your mind, not over external events, and it is precisely here that rejection reveals its true role. In this video, you will understand why rejection is not the end, but a brutally honest redirection. Through 13 strategies inspired by Stoic philosophy, you will learn how to reclaim your emotional power, stop begging for validation, and transform the pain of being ignored into clarity, inner strength, and self-mastery. If you have ever felt invisible, this video is not just something to watch. It is something to change the way you see yourself. The first Stoic response to rejection begins with a simple yet extremely powerful move. Stop chasing those who chose to ignore you. When someone pulls away, the automatic impulse is to explain yourself, insist, seek answers, prove your worth, or demand attention. But for Stoicism, this impulse is born from a loss of inner control. Ignoring in return is not immaturity or emotional manipulation, it is repositioning. It is a conscious decision to withdraw your energy from where it is not recognized. You are not punishing the other person, you are protecting yourself. By stepping back with dignity, you send a silent message, not to them, but to your own mind. I do not need to beg to be seen. Silence in this context is not weakness, it is self-control. Every step backward is, in reality, a step toward emotional autonomy. When you stop reacting, you regain authority over your feelings, interrupt the cycle of dependency, and begin to rebuild your inner balance. For the Stoics, whoever controls their reactions controls their destiny. The second Stoic strategy is not to react emotionally, because every impulsive reaction hands control of your mind to someone else or to an external circumstance. Rejection awakens anger, sadness, anxiety, and an almost automatic urge to respond, justify, or defend yourself. For the Stoics, however, emotion is not a command, it is a signal. It appears, makes noise, and passes. Marcus Aurelius compared emotions to natural phenomena, real, intense, but temporary. When you react at the height of pain, you are not choosing, you are being carried along. Stoic practice teaches you to create space between stimulus and response. Pause. Observe your thoughts without identifying with them. Ask yourself whether this rejection defines who you are or merely reveals unmet expectations. Often, the pain does not come from the event itself, but from old wounds being touched. Mastering emotions is not about suppressing them, but understanding them before acting. When you respond with calm, you break the cycle of emotional chaos and turn restraint into strength. Those who do not react impulsively retain power, even when everything seems lost. The third Stoic strategy is to remove this person from your mind, because no prison is more limiting than the one built by your own thoughts. When someone rejects you, it is common to replay the scene repeatedly, imagine different responses, create dialogues that will never happen, and fantasize about future regret. This silent process drains energy, focus, and clarity. The Stoics warned that suffering twice, once in the event and again in constant remembrance, is an unconscious choice. Allowing someone to occupy your mind without contributing to your peace is giving away power for free. The training here is to deliberately redirect your focus. Fill your time with actions that elevate your mind and strengthen your body. Reading, studying, creating, exercising, daily discipline. Meet new people, accept new challenges, and build experiences that do not carry the weight of the past. When you change your focus, you change your inner state. That person's chapter in your story has ended, and insisting on rereading it only delays the next one. For the Stoic, letting go is not forgetting. It is choosing not to carry what no longer contributes to your growth. The fourth Stoic strategy is to demonstrate your value, not as a response to rejection, but as a silent commitment to yourself. Rejection often whispers subtle lies, telling you that you are not enough, that you failed, or that you were left behind due to a lack of merit. Stoicism teaches you not to argue with these thoughts, but to act despite them. Instead of seeking external approval, direct that energy inward. Start a meaningful project, develop a skill, strengthen your body, sharpen your mind, and serve something greater than your ego. This is not about proving anything to the person who rejected you, but about reaffirming to yourself who you are becoming. Silent progress has a deeper impact than any explanation. When you evolve consistently, your value stops being something that needs defending. It becomes evident. For the Stoics, the true response to rejection is to live so aligned with your principles that other people's opinions lose relevance. Personal growth makes no noise, yet it transforms everything around you. The fifth Stoic strategy is to cut contact when the other person's presence becomes a constant source of disrespect, confusion, or emotional exhaustion. Maintaining closeness with someone who ignores you is not a sign of maturity, but of attachment to validation. Stoicism teaches that clarity emerges when you create enough distance to see reality without emotional distortion. Stepping away is not running, it is choosing your peace. You do not need to remain in environments where you must beg for attention or repeatedly explain your worth. The silence that comes from distance is not emptiness, it is space to reorganize thoughts, redefine expectations, and rebuild your identity free from external influence. Boundaries are not walls of hostility, they are filters of respect. They allow only those who recognize your value access to your energy. For the Stoic, cutting contact is an act of practical wisdom, protecting what is essential to maintain serenity and self-mastery. The sixth Stoic strategy is to transform rejection into internal proof of growth, not an external spectacle of validation. When someone rejects you, an immediate desire arises to prove them wrong, to show success, evolution, or superiority. Stoicism makes a crucial adjustment to this motivation. Prove nothing to them, prove it to yourself. Use rejection as disciplined fuel, not as uncontrolled impulse. Channel this energy into continuous self-improvement, the building of solid habits, and the strengthening of mind, character, and emotional autonomy. Growing out of revenge keeps you tied to the other person. Growing out of purpose sets you free. When you commit seriously to your evolution, the need for external recognition naturally fades. The focus shifts from who doubted you to who you are becoming. And there is a powerful irony here. When your growth is genuine, silent, and consistent, the validation that once seemed so important completely loses its value. For the Stoics, the greatest victory is not being recognized by the one who rejected you, but no longer needing that recognition to move forward. The seventh Stoic strategy is to go out, live, and allow yourself to experience joy even after rejection. The initial impulse is often isolation, silent withdrawal, and the belief that stepping away from the world is the best way to protect yourself. However, the Stoics understood that prolonged isolation strengthens rumination and amplifies pain. Going out, enjoying yourself, and exploring is not denying what happened, it is reminding yourself that life continues to move. Laughing, talking, dancing, learning something new, or simply changing your environment helps break the mental cycle of rejection. Joy, in this context, is not escape, it is renewal. Each positive experience reinforces the understanding that your life does not revolve around a single person or event. Meeting new people, especially those who do not carry expectations tied to your past, creates space for more authentic versions of yourself. For the Stoic, living well is an act of silent resistance. Life is too short to be put on hold while waiting for someone who chose not to walk beside you. The eighth Stoic strategy is to build your social standing with intention, not as a desperate response to rejection, but as a natural consequence of alignment with your purpose. Rejection often acts as a silent redirection, moving you away from environments that no longer supported your growth. Instead of trying to reclaim spaces where there was no recognition, Stoicism teaches you to create new circles based on shared values, interests, and goals. Engaging in groups aligned with your vision, participating in activities that encourage discipline and learning, seeking mentors, and developing practical skills strengthens not only your confidence but also your social presence. Status, for the Stoic, is not fame. It is inner solidity reflected outwardly. The more you build a structured, coherent, purpose-driven life, the less impact temporary rejections have. Your social circle rises in quality, not through forced effort, but because your posture changes. The presence of someone who knows where they are going naturally becomes respected, consistent, and difficult to ignore. The ninth Stoic strategy is to act as if they do not exist, not out of resentment, but out of conscious detachment. This does not mean pretending indifference or creating a cold persona, but removing the other person from the center of your emotional decisions. As long as someone occupies space in your mind, they still exert influence over your behavior, even from a distance. Stoicism teaches that true freedom begins when you stop reacting to the other person's presence or absence. Allow each person to follow their own path without inner conflict. You do not need to erase memories or deny what you felt, only prevent it from continuing to govern the present. When you act focused on your own life, goals, and values, rejection loses the power to define your next steps. This posture generates a quiet peace, because it is born from clarity, not escape. For the Stoic, detachment is not hardening the heart, it is freeing it from what cannot be controlled. The 10th Stoic strategy is to use silence as a tool of emotional mastery, not as a weapon of hostility. Stoic silence is not coldness, contempt, or a psychological tactic, but a conscious choice not to waste energy on what has already shown a lack of mutual value. When you stop explaining, justifying, or reacting, you interrupt the cycle of emotional exhaustion. The Stoics saw silence as a strategic pause, a space where the mind reorganizes and reason regains control. By remaining silent, you are not ignoring the other person out of spite, but acknowledging that their voice no longer holds authority over your emotions. Silence communicates maturity, self-control, and inner clarity, even when no words are spoken. It signals that you have accepted reality as it is and chosen to invest in what can be transformed. For the Stoic, stopping arguments with the past is the first step toward building a future with greater serenity and inner strength. The 11th Stoic strategy is never to beg for attention, because the moment you do, you hand your emotional value over to someone else. The need to be seen, answered, or chosen can lead to behaviors that weaken your posture and undermine your self-confidence. For the Stoics, value does not arise from external approval, but from coherence between thought, action, and character. When you seek validation, you become dependent on other people's moods, timing, and choices. Instead, walk with quiet confidence. Do not announce your presence, embody it. Emotionally centered people do not compete for attention, they attract it naturally. Genuine self-confidence is perceived effortlessly because it is rooted in self-respect. The real turning point comes when you stop asking whether others like you and begin evaluating whether your actions are aligned with who you want to become. For the Stoic, dignity means never negotiating your worth in exchange for emotional crumbs. The 12th Stoic strategy is to maintain kindness while preserving the emotional distance necessary to protect your peace. Being kind does not mean granting unlimited access or allowing someone to continue influencing your inner state. Stoicism clearly distinguishes character from attachment. You can act with respect, courtesy, and goodwill without sacrificing your emotional balance. Kindness is an expression of strength under control, not submission. By establishing emotional distance, you avoid relapses, unmet expectations, and new cycles of frustration. Not everyone needs access to your vulnerabilities, your deepest thoughts, or your full version. Preserving emotional energy is an act of self-preservation. For the Stoics, distance is not punishment, it is conscious protection. You wish others well, but you choose not to carry their weight. This posture creates healthier relationships and prevents rejection from reclaiming a space that has already been overcome. The 13th Stoic strategy is not to reveal your struggle to everyone, because there is real strength in discretion. In moments of rejection, there is a temptation to explain your pain, justify your choices, or seek validation by exposing your suffering. For the Stoics, however, not every battle needs an audience. Privacy is not a sign of weakness, but of self-control and emotional maturity. Healing in silence allows you to process the experience without external interference, confusing opinions, or unnecessary judgment. Sharing your journey should be a careful choice, reserved only for those who have demonstrated sufficient respect, loyalty, and wisdom to listen. When you talk too much about your pain, you risk remaining trapped in it. When you act, evolve, and grow in silence, your transformation becomes evident without explanations. For the Stoic, the true message is not in words, but in posture, inner peace, and the firmness of someone who went through rejection without breaking. Your recovery does not need to be announced, it will be noticed. Final words. Every rejection carries within it a seed of redirection, strength, and clarity. The Stoics remind us, what stands in the way becomes the way. Marcus Aurelius. Let rejection be your teacher, not your executioner. Let it guide you inward, to the place where your true power lives. Because the truth is this, you were never truly rejected. You were redirected toward something better. Thank you for watching. If this resonated with you, click the like button, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear this. Until next time, stay strong, stay focused, and keep growing.